I have a 15-minute morning productivity routine that I do every single morning of the weekday that helps me get my client work done and keeps my clients happy. Let's check it out. Look, there are a metric ton of different task managers and apps that you can get to work with all your inputs that come throughout the day. I really love Things 3 by Cultured Code. It gets me organized and it actually helps me get work done. The few things that I like about it is that it's easy to use without every single bell and whistle. You don't need everything. It works across every single platform that I use, except for Windows, which is sad, but there's a little hack for that. And it's absolutely beautiful to look at. So here we have our daily review. Now this has popped up for me automatically, right? I go into open the app in my today view. I can see my daily review, which is right up there. Now I've allowed 15 minutes to get this done. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it's quicker. It just depends on how much I've got to process. First thing I like to do is check my calendar. Now Things is awesome in that it actually brings in and displays your calendar appointments here. So at the moment I've got lunch at 12 o'clock. That's an easy one to not really worry too much about. But if I had a whole heap of stuff locked in for that day, I know that I'm not going to be as productive in getting all my tasks done for that day. So it kind of allows me to cater for that in what I want to focus on for the day. So once I've checked my calendar, I can get rid of that and it's going to tick it off. Then I'm going to clear my email and my Things inbox. So the first thing I want to hit is my email inbox. Now I've seen inboxes like my wife's, for example. She's got 15,000 unread emails. That would make me go absolutely bananas. I can't have that. I like to try and get it to inbox 0. Doesn't always work, but that's the goal, right? Now, the nice thing about Things 3 is how it integrates and how you can quickly populate the inbox or your today list if you need to. If I have a site audit here, okay, I can copy Control C and get a copy of the link to the email. I can then press Control Space. Up comes my quick prompt dialog box for Things. So I can say, check site audit. I can paste that link directly to the email. That is so awesome. So if I'm happy just to pop it straight into my inbox, I can do that as well. So what I want to do is I want to run through all of my inbox, clear it out, move it over to Things if I need to do further action on it, or just archive or delete. All right, we're back over in Things and I've completed my email. Then I want to check my inbox. So my inbox, as you've probably seen on some of my other videos, is where all the ideas go straight into. It could be emails, it could be a conversation that I've had on the phone with a client or a family member or something I just need to remember. That will go straight into my inbox, but I need to make sure I'm checking that every single day. Otherwise, it's just going to disappear. If we look at Things, we've got my inbox at the very top here. So these are all the things that I've just kind of popped in there over the past couple of days. Now, I haven't cleared everything out for the entire day yesterday or the last week, but that's okay. If they're not urgent, they can always just kind of sit in there till I'm ready to do something with them. Now, there's a couple of different options when it comes to Things 3, what you can actually do with your inbox. You can move it to today. You can move it to a project. You can move it straight to your anytime list. You can also move it to someday. Someday is cool in that it kind of gets it out of your peripheral, so you don't have to worry too much about it, but you can always come back and check your someday out and say, that's something that I want to work on. I'm not really sure when I want to do it, but I just want to make sure I capture it so I don't forget it. I've checked my email, I've checked my inbox, and then I want to move on to anything that I'm waiting on. So if I go into here and just start type waiting, there it is there. Now waiting is my favorite tag in all of Things because I don't have to keep it in my head. I can pop it in here, I can put a waiting tag on it, and I know I'm going to check it every day. That's what is so powerful in Things, is that you've got a trusted system that you know you can rely on. Now these all still live in the different folders that they live in, but what I love about the waiting tag is that it's going to pull it from no matter where it's sitting, and it's going to display it here for me so I can quickly run through it. Another tag that I use all the time is deadlines. Really a created tag, it's already in there, but it gives me the due dates of when something's due. So I can look in here quickly and go, okay, I've got a day left on that, I've got 3 days on that. I can make sure that I'm going to get this stuff finished by the time that I need to get it finished. So we've got our waiting list that we've checked, we've got our deadline list that we've checked. Now we're going to make sure that all projects have an action. So what does that mean? Now Things is based on David Allen's Getting Things Done, which is a book which you might have heard the term GTD, and it's his system for getting actual work finished. So it relies heavily on those concepts that David's come up with and the system that he's developed. This step, to make sure all projects have a next action, is actually there to make sure that the projects that I've got on the left-hand side actually have a next step associated with it. If this is a client project, I want to make sure that there's something moving in that next step, that it's not just sitting there and getting stagnant. So if it's a design, I want to make sure that there's a task in here that it's either with a designer or it's over with the client for approval. I don't want it just to be sitting there. So once I've cleared up all my projects, I tick that one off the list. Now I've got add times to today's tasks and sort. So how do we do that? So we're going to go back over to our today list and see the whole lot. Now you can see some of my tasks here have a time allotted to it in brackets at the end. Some of these are missing. So I might go into record YouTube video on things. I'm going to go in here and say 30 minutes and pop it in there. If I can have a estimated time value for each of my tasks, then I can kind of put it in a bit of priority order. So I've got obviously my daily reviews at the very top here, because we're going to tick that off in a second. But I can go, all right, we can't really do the midday check-in. I can tick off my 5 minutes of meditation because I've done that already. But I can go, all right, there's actually a 5-minute task here. Sometimes if you have a small task, like a 5-minute easy one to do, it can give you that momentum to start doing a heap of smaller ones to then move on to the bigger stuff. And you feel like, hey, I'm in the mood, I'm ready to go, I can actually get stuff done. We all know that cash flow is king when it comes to any kind of business. No different with freelancing. If I don't get the invoice out, they're not going to pay, then I'm digging holes or something. I don't know. It's not going to be good. I have a tag set up in Things 3 for invoicing that I can then type up. I can quickly tick off and get the invoicing out and move on with my day. Look, I know this is bizarre. I don't always perform to the best of my ability. I like to have a little mantra there. Do your best today. Whatever that is. Whatever, if you've got 20 minutes, if you've got an hour of work, of effective work to do, make sure it's your best. And I like to have that on there. And we tick it off, and that is our daily review completed. What do you guys use for task management? Do you use Things? Do you use something else? Do you use Things and you've got a completely different setup of how you do it? I'd be really interested to know. Comment down below what your system looks like and how you think you could improve mine. I'm Lee, and I'll see you in the next one.